I'm going to try to project my voice, so if you can't hear me, tell me. I am super excited to be here. I'm super nervous as well, but I'm happy to see all of you in our space that we've worked so hard on. So just having you all be here is inspiring to me, and I really appreciate it. It's been fun to think and consider this topic, reflection. My friends and family might disagree because I've been a wreck this last month, being nervous and staying up all night and whatever, but I've come to realize that this topic is probably the biggest theme in my life, and I didn't even notice it until I really thought about, my story and how I got here today and everything that I've been through. So I feel like reflection is more important than I even realized. So I'm excited to kind of just share who I am and the theme of reflection throughout my life, and I hope it can help you guys think about it in yours. I do have a little activity really quick, break the ice for me. So I put a little mirror on everybody's chair. So if you don't have one, there's some empty seats, so just grab one. And Chase made the joke that I'm going to steal it, that the mirror is to reflect and the matches are, it's going to get lit in here. Or something like that. So I want you to just really quickly take a look at yourself in this mirror. Notice anything that you see, anything that you're thinking about this morning that you see in your reflection. Okay? So now, close the mirror and close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Everyone close your eyes and just try and think back, really think back to the last time you achieved something that you are super proud of. Something you worked hard on, put your heart and soul into, and just think about how that felt. Visualize it. Now open your eyes and take a look in the mirror. Do you notice anything different? I feel like I see way more smiles, and I think that's just a quick reminder that perspective is everything. I think a lot of times it's easy to go negative, you notice your pores or how tired you look or anything like that, but when you can channel your achievements, your hard work, you're going to project something different. So that's just my little icebreaker. I'm going to have my beautiful model, Kim, come up and sit with me while I tell my story about my life and reflections. Yeah. So you guys can look at her instead of me. She's a much better model. But this is what I do every day. So I want to explore this topic from a literal standpoint because I am a hairdresser, so a lot of my work is done in a mirror. So a lot of the time I'm going to be talking to you today through this mirror because that's how I work every day. So you see me this way, I see you. And then I'm going to talk about the metaphorical sense of self-reflection and how that is a theme throughout all of our lives, or should be if it's not a practice of yours. So I will be kind of fussing with her hair. I just cut it on Wednesday, but I left a little detailing so we could work, because this is what I do all day. So a little bit about myself is I grew up in Canada, in Edmonton, Alberta, which is a great place to grow up. And, I was thinking about that, and I think there's some other people in here that might have been teenage girls at one point. And I really thought about how as a young person I was obsessed with self-reflection. And it was really stemmed out of insecurity and self-doubt. I would always be thinking about who I said hello to in the hallway, and how did I look, how did I sound, should I have talked to that person? Okay, we already lost someone, so I don't know what that's all about, but it's fine. It's fine. He was nervous. So that was when I first noticed it was a theme. I would come home from a party and wake up my mom and talk about everything I said and did, and it was just rooted in that. And so from Edmonton, at 18, I moved to Whistler, British Columbia. which is the #1 ski resort in North America, to be a ski bum, because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do yet. I had always been interested in hair, but I had this chip on my shoulder that I was like, too smart to do it, or something like that. I don't know where that came from, but I don't know, all the smokers in school were in the cosmetology program. I don't know if you guys had that experience, but, so, I moved to Whistler, and my first roommate was named Emily. She was this kind of spunky girl, great at snowboarding, and she's a hairdresser. And she told me, she's like, your hair does not suit your personality. And I always had hair like this, and it's like, what do you mean? And she's like, it just doesn't suit you. This is not who you are. And I was like, well, I have a round face. I cannot have short hair. I've never colored my hair. My mom won't let me. And she was like, let's do it. And so she cut my hair, colored it, and I instantly felt more like myself. And that was the first time that I really saw my reflection in her and how she saw me, and helped me have the confidence to wear it with pride. So that was a feeling that I loved, and I thought, this is something I might want to do. I want to make people feel that way. So I ended up migrating after a few years to Vancouver, and that's where I did hair school and started my journey into hair. And that's where the literal reflection became such a big part of my life. I use the mirror every day to notice my clients. Oh, there's my client, Edric. Yay, Edric. I like calling people up so that they feel uncomfortable. So I went to hair school in Vancouver, and I started working at my first hair salon, and I realized what an important part the mirror plays. First of all, when we are in a mirror, I don't know if you guys are experiencing this, but our natural inclination is to look at ourselves. So I had to train myself not to see myself, because I'd be like, oh my gosh, why am I wearing this outfit? And like, oh, I put too much makeup on, my hair looks bad, and I was missing all those cues that my client gives me when they're looking in the mirror. It's you quickly realize what a vulnerable experience it is. We have this floor to ceiling, basically, mirrors here, so Kim's seeing her entire body, especially when they don't have a cape on. So I could see insecurities coming out in people when we're talking about their hair, the parts that they touch, if they're making eye contact with themselves, if they're looking at me. These were the subtle things I had never noticed before. So that was the first kind of way that I used reflection to be better at my job. I forget myself, I'm here for this person, and I want to look at them and see what they're seeing instead of me. And much like you guys might have experienced looking in the mirror the first time, a lot of times their first impression is like, oh my god, I should have worn makeup today. Like people just start spewing their kind of insecurities out, and then my hope is at the end of the appointment, when I spin them around, their expression totally changes. Like yours might have thinking about your accomplishments. So that was kind of the first way I use it. So I worked at a couple salons in Vancouver, and this is where I started changing my approach to hair from being good at what I do to using the mirror to be great. Just like you need different perspectives to understand people, I needed to tap into that just to connect with whoever walked through the door inside of my chair, but also a different way of seeing the hair. If I'm looking at it straight on, I see it in one way. I could look at Kim's hair, be like, oh yeah, this looks nice, I like the way it's flowing. Especially in men's hair too, I'm obsessed with the hairline, so I'm often using the mirror to spin them around and look, and now I can see it in a totally different way. Like, okay, I like this flow, but maybe it's a little heavy in here, which I intentionally left so I could see that. And these are the little details that made me go from good to great, because that is what we need in our craft. We need to see it from a different perspective. And the mirror can be with us always to reflect that. Another time I noticed that was in an airplane. When everyone stands up to get off the plane and I was just standing there waiting, I was always looking at the back of people's head and I'd be like, that's a nice haircut, that's a nice haircut. Or I would be like, that could be a nice haircut, but there's one piece that's not moving, or that one piece just needs to be thinned out. And so that's when that was like an impactful little observation of why I use the mirror to show me that different perspective, because we're just so right in it all the time. I remember I worked with a girl too that taught classes, and our shampoo bowls were in front of the mirrors, and I would always watch her shampoo someone's hair while staring at her own reflection in the mirror. It's just so funny when you start paying attention. Like, everyone has a mirror face, which is also hilarious. And you just see it. I do it too. The lips start pursing. You start doing these weird movements with your hands, and every single person does it. Like, my boss and I, one of my old bosses and I talked about how funny it would be to put a little camera in the mirror to like capture people's hair faces. We never look like that, but yet it's our like go-to safety, right? So it's funny to just pick up on these little things. So I'm going to start curling Kim's hair. Actually, no, I'm going to cut it a little bit. So then I moved from Vancouver. After living there for 6 years, I moved to New York City with big aspirations to work, New York Fashion Week and editorial hair and working with celebrities. That was what I thought my dream was. That's most hairstylist aspirations. It's like my little thing in my bio that like makes people think I'm cool. However, getting there, I started doing that, which was super fun. Backstage at New York Fashion Week, it's high pressure, it's everything you see on TV and whatever. And I would just always feel empty after I got home from working those events. I would, you work on a music video and it's all weekend, 16 hours a day, you're connecting with these people, working so hard, having all this laughs, and I would go home and just feel empty. And I had to really reflect on myself there of how why I was feeling that way. And I realized that that just wasn't for me. The high and the excitement and the flow, I did not like that. I liked working behind the chair in the salon, making people feel good about what they're doing and how they look. And that was my main passion. So to be able to reflect on that was a huge also turning point in my life and career of what I wanted to do. So from New York, I had a quarter-life crisis. And I moved to Phoenix about 11 years ago and went back to school to be a motorcycle mechanic, which is a little change in the direction. But I needed that time. I loved my life. I was doing great, but I needed to really take that time to reflect on myself and realize why I didn't want to be in New York anymore. So I started working at a salon downtown Phoenix while I was in motorcycle school. Okay, motorcycle school was fun, a definite challenge, but I realized that that wasn't for me either. But it gave me the pause that I needed to figure out what the next step was. In that time, I met my now husband, Matt, and it was his reflection in me that gave me the confidence to take that next step, which was going to be to open my own salon and put my vision out. And I was cracking up because I didn't even realize this when thinking about the word reflection, but in my wedding vows, I said I read the lyrics to the song I'll Be Your Mirror by the Velvet Underground to him, and I realized, like, oh my gosh, that was like the big moment that I was like, this is a theme of my life. Like, and I was saying it to him as a reflection for, wanting him to see the way I saw him. But really, I think the biggest impact is how he reflected myself to myself. But he gave me the confidence. When I could see myself through his eyes, I knew I could take that next step, because I just had been kind of riddled with self-doubt and that imposter syndrome my whole life, and he helped me see myself in a different way. So then we fast forward to, I realize I'm not doing kids hair like I thought I would be doing more, but totally fine. Break him. I thought it was already perfect. Yeah. See? But yeah. Great. Yes, great. So then I go into moving and opening my own salon, which we opened almost 5 years ago on Central and Highland was our first location. And we did it November 15th, 2019 when we opened, right before COVID. But we made it through, and this is when I had to start turning that insecurity reflection into confidence. I was about to be a boss and a business owner, and something that I just was so scared about. I didn't know what I was doing. It was all unknown. So I went into that, and I've used it as a practice in my life to always push myself to be better and to learn from our mistakes. We had a small team to begin with, and we were trucking along, doing great, and then, that team, as people naturally do, move on, and my first reaction was to be angry and upset that these people were leaving, but that's not the way to process it. I had to look at myself and my own contribution to how I treated them, how I was leading them, what I was giving them. So upon that was the biggest revelation and the biggest growth moment for myself, to have the team that we have today, which is incredible. Like, when we bought this building, we had a long staff meeting to talk and think about what our core values were, who we were as people, what was going to make us walk through this door every day with a purpose. So we spent 2 hours reflecting on our experiences with our clients and our experience as clients and as teammates and friendship, and we came up with our core values, which kind of define and move us along every day. Sorry, I'm getting nervous, even though I'm almost done.
You should quiz this side of the core.
Oh, yeah. No, but I think our, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Let me pause and reflect on what I'm doing. So I think just being here and, how I took that insecurity that I felt and that practice that I had throughout my life, I've now turned it into a positive to how we can grow. So not everyone has that instinct. The way the world is now, we're almost taught not to reflect. You go pump gas at the gas station and the little TV screen comes on and is playing you ads, and it's just like you have to really carve out the time to think back, and you could just keep moving forward without ever looking back. So for us and our team, we've carved out the time to do, our one-on-ones or to reflect on the week, to think how we could have done the hair better, how the interaction better, what can we give our clients to elevate their experience when they come in the chair with us. So that is a huge thing for us, and it was something I was able to change from something that was maybe something negative into something positive for growth. And I think as artists, like you all are creative here, we need that. We need to show our work. My work is physically represented walking out the door. Everyone can see it, see how it works, but we have limited perspective when we are just working on something that we love. We're super excited about it, but we don't know how the world perceives it until we share it. And we want to be a reflection for our clients and our clients to reflect us. And so that's